that's going. Uh, okay. Set up there. That's set up. Up. Yup. Perfect. Alright, welcome to I'm Not Sayin NFL Week 3 recap. Today it's just me, your boy Cabbage. Everybody else is busy or doing something else. But we still gotta get this done, so I'm doing it in the middle of the day. Alright, Thursday's game. The Jags versus the Titans. Well, things we've discovered. Marcus Mariota suffers from Mitchell Trubisky problem called only likes to throw to one guy, kind of. Basically. Jacksonville, Gardner Minshew. I can't tell if NFL defenses aren't prepared or if he is just as good. I'm going to go with he's just as good because I'm a Jags fan and that's what I want to believe in. Plus, we've seen, this is like game 3 now of him just doing this, so. Leonard Fournette was all but useless except for one frickin' 69-yard run. So I think he ended with like 65 total yards. Other than that, I mean, Gardner loves DJ Chark. DJ Chark? Yeah, DJ Chark. Yeah, my bad. What else was there? Oh yeah, the defense. Jacksonville's defense showed up, and I think they sacked Marcus Mariota about 9 times. That number sounds right. So, they're back. Jalen Ramsey's on the trade... Well, Jalen Ramsey is going, I'm on the trade block. Jacksonville's going, no, you're not. But he's going to be soon. So, someone will take. Alright. What do I got next? Yes, the Bengals and the Bills. Called How Did the Bills Almost Blow This Game to the Bengals? That shouldn't have been possible. The Bills were way better than that. The Bengals, that was last week's, that was the 49ers and Steelers game where there was like turnovers every 10 seconds. But oh well. So, Bengals, I mean, they keep doing what they're doing, so which is good. Are you doing that right now, computer screen? Okay, that's what I thought. Where was I going with this? It's almost a little harder without other people screaming in my ear. Their offense is still looking better since they've switched to Zach Taylor as head coach. Andy Dalton's throwing the ball more. Of course, that can lead to more interceptions, but they all seem to be running it more with Mixon, and they keep getting other members of the offense involved. John Ross has been more involved, I think, in these first 3 weeks of this year than he has been basically in his I think this is his third year, so like his entire career. So whatever 2-3 years that is. So you've got their defense still is not great. Basically, if you're running back, you're gonna like playing against the Bengals. So for the Bills, I mean, Frank Gore, I think, if I remember correctly, had a pretty decent game. Of course, I could always be not remembering that correctly, but whatever, me. Josh Allen still turns the ball over, so he hasn't gotten that kink worked out yet, but still looks good. He's got John Brown to work with, Cole Beasley. He's got talent. It's there. They only won because of, I think, like a last-minute touchdown or whatever from Frank Gore or somebody. Maybe it was even Cole Beasley. That actually might have been the Cole Beasley touchdown I'm thinking of. But still, you got Zay Jones is there. Who's the other one? Who's the other one on that? I do not know. But oh well. If someone remembers, please leave it in the comments, and I'll probably be like, that's who it was. Or remember 20 minutes after recording this. Bills' defense still looks pretty good. Of course, they got a little sloppy towards the end. I mean, they forced, I think, the Bengals to turn the ball over a good amount of times. Not as much as the game we'll get to later, but a good amount. Next, you've got Detroit and the Philadelphia Eagles. So, this didn't go as I thought it would. I thought the Eagles would just kind of trounce Detroit a little bit, but Detroit somehow won? That makes no sense. By the way, if I did not mention, the Jaguars won the Thursday game, and the Bills won the game previously. So, so the Lions, I mean, Matt Stafford, looked okay. He threw a couple, he threw a couple touchdowns. They're trying to give carry on the ball a little more. Also, they've got, who was the other back they had? I think it was Paul Perkins, if I remember correctly. Of course, they got a 100-yard kick return touchdown. Philadelphia goes down, scores. It's like, all right, yeah, that's par for the course. And then immediately the guy just runs it back, and it's like, okay then. All right, Devin Hester. Kidding. There will never be another Devin Hester, not with the way kickoffs are in the NFL. So, in Philadelphia, Carson Wentz didn't look bad. The refs are garbage because there was an obvious face mask where Miles Sanders' helmet got twisted all the way around and it came off. There's who needs face mask penalties, right? Nelson Aguilar can't catch well. It's not surprising. That's why you got Alshon. That's why you have D-Jacks. They can catch better. That's also why you have Zach Ertz and Dallas Goedert. You have Zach Ertz is still one of the best tight ends. He may not be having the number season that they want him to, but he's still good. He's still going to be good regardless of what you do. Miles Sanders, I think, is going to get more of the work going forward. And Jordan Howard might be more of a goal line guy. Quote me on that, but that's just how it kind of looked. Miles Sanders seemed to get a lot more, and then they got to the one. Miles Sanders basically got him a little bit close to the one, and then they just put in Jordan Howard, who busted in a 3, 4, 5 yard run. Defense-wise, Philadelphia's could have been better, but I don't know how you got played by the Lions by 3 points. So, if the line was 3 points for, the Eagles, I'm sure hopefully you took the Lions. Oh, God, I have to cover the Jets and the Patriots, don't I? Actually, I think I still have to cover, I still have to cover Miami, so. Alright, well, let's get this trash heap out of the way. Miami's 14 points, if I remember correctly, come from a muffed punt and from a pick six when the Patriots put their backups in. There was no offensive scoring of any kind, and it definitely was not when any of the Patriots starters were in. So the Jets are basically a dumpster fire right now, especially with, without Sam Darnold, you can only hand the ball to Le'Veon Bell so much. Yeah, you paid him. Adam Gase isn't happy, but Adam Gase has no choice but to use him. Luke Falk is a mega step down from Sam Darnold, and so would Trevor Siemian if his leg wasn't broken. So, the Patriots are the Patriots. Defense is still one of the best right now in the league, but of course, in a way they've gotten some easier matchups. They've got a Jets without Sam Darnold, easy matchup. They had Miami last week. It's like barely playing a college team. Jesus. Without, AB's gone, so, you're watching other people get back into that thing. They had him for 1 week, so it threw everything for a loop, and now it's just basically, all right, back to basically how week 1 was. Josh Gordon, it's like Gordon, Edelman, and I think Philip Dorsett. Yeah, that sounds right. All right, moving on. The John Gruden Grinder Raiders and the Minnesota Vikings. Hey, Dalvin Cook, when the man is healthy, he is a beast. He just keeps getting basically major injuries. But I think this is going to be the year he finally is on track. The Vikings still look good. They let Kirk Cousins throw the ball 20 times, which, my opinion, I can't believe. Because, Jesus, how do you let Kirk Cousins throw the ball that many times when you want to be a run team? Obviously you paid him 84. This is more of a joke. The Raiders, in my opinion, never stood a chance against Minnesota's defense, and we're never going to be able to. If it became a shootout, the Raiders were never going to win the shootout. And of course, they can't really do a shootout because your best weapons on offense are Darren Waller the Walrus. Shout out to the footballers for that freaking line. Tyrell Williams and Josh Jacobs. And Derek Carr also doesn't throw the ball deep and have, if you go if you were to take the three best offensive players, right from Oakland, who I just listed, versus Stephon Diggs, Adam Thielen, and Dalvin Cook, I would absolutely take all three of those. Granted, I'll take right now Darren Waller over Kyle Rudolph. I would. But, we're not, if we're taking, but Darren Waller is not a Travis Kelce level tight end yet. Alright. Next. What was supposed to be the game of the week, but was kind of disappointing in actually watching it. Which to me, this mostly felt like the Chiefs got up to a huge lead. Then Baltimore got a couple lucky turnovers. And, it felt not as much Lamar Jackson throwing the ball as people thought it would. So for fantasy, he saved his day with a rushing touchdown basically towards the end of the game. So, Mark Andrews did nothing. Some of those throws by Lamar Jackson were just Hail Mary, prayers. So he just, went, yep, somebody catch this, please. And I'm like, oh, God. He's lucky that one guy turned around, otherwise that was going to look like a complete dumpster. But maybe they just, but I think for the Chiefs it was a bit easier because they're like, well, this dude likes to sling it just like the guy we play against every week at practice does, so they just kind of went, we got this. Not shocking they won by, 2 plus 3 is 5. They won by 5. Touchdown would have won the game. That sucks. Another almost surprisingly close game, but it's hard for me to tell at the moment. It's the Falcons and the Colts. I don't know why Matt Ryan just sometimes seems afraid to throw to Julio Jones it also could just be he doesn't have time to go through everything, but maybe when he first reads Julio, he's covered, but then if he would have kept watching for 5 more seconds, he's just, everyone's gone, and you could just go boink. And it's I don't know. Devonta Freeman's getting on track, but I feel like they still give Ito Smith the ball a little too much. Because Ito Smith isn't good. And I understand you sometimes do got to use another running back. I get that. Similar to, what was it? You can't give Le'Veon Bell the ball 50 times a game. You can try, but man, is his body going to be worn down before week 10? Hell, even week, we're in week 4 already? Man, jeez. Probably more like week 6 if you gave him the ball that much. Whatever. Colts D didn't look terrible, but obviously you went up 24 to the Falcons, but Matt Ryan's usually a first half of season quarterback, so not shocking. He got to the goal line. He got to Austin Hooper, which shocked me to the core to see him actually throw the ball to Austin Hooper and not Julio Jones multiple times. The Colts D did hold Julio to a decent amount, less than usual Julio amounts. So, on the Colts side, T.Y. Hilton is not sure if he's going to play, so that's bad. But, Paris Campbell has been doing really good. Now, that could be in kind of like a Juju effect, where Juju looked really good as a rookie backup, but that's because he has a good person that all the main guys are covering. Not that Juju isn't good and he doesn't look good. I think he still hasn't got acclimated to his role as the number 1 and has learned to deal with the number 1 DBs all the time. Marlon Mack still gonna have the ball. He's good. Falcons D is Falcons D. So pretty not great. You know. Oh, baby. Oh, next. Denver Broncos versus the Cheese Packers. Yeah. Good old cheese. Alright. I still almost find it funny that, well, it's not surprising that the entire NFC North won all their games. I mean, the only one that's surprising was the Lions, but hey, good for the NFC North this week. Everyone won their games. You know, Denver's offense does not look great at all, in my opinion. Anyone's just like, oh, they're great. It's like, no. It's like, it's not bad, but I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I just, not a huge, like, oh, Joe Flacco is so good. You know, I'm not saying go throw in, I think, Lock. Yeah, Drew Lock. I'm not saying go throw in Drew Lock. I'm just saying, like, temper your expectations, because that team needs to run the ball way more with Phillip Lindsay, with Royce Freeman. I mean, Joe Flacco's not gonna sling the ball all the time. As his counterpart on the opposite offense, definitely loves slinging the ball down the field whenever he can. Don't ever give Aaron Rodgers a free play. That's all I'll say. I mean, the Denver defense did the best they could, but even you can do so much against a Hall of Fame caliber quarterback such as Aaron Rodgers. I mean, don't give him a free play. Because, you know what? If he gets a free play, he'll just take a shot downfield. It doesn't matter. And if he gets it, they'll just go, okay, we decline the penalty, touchdown. I mean, come on. You know, they're still working out the backfield carries there, but Aaron Rodgers is coming out and saying, like, you know, I think, I forgot who it was. It was Jimmy Graham and someone else need more targets. But it's also like, you're the one throwing the ball, so you kind of got to do that. Realistically, pass catching wise, outside of Devontae Adams, you can take a shot, but you don't know who it's going to be. Is it Geronimo? Is it MVS? Is it going to be Jimmy Graham? Is it going to be Equanimous St. Brown's for some odd reason? I mean, Broncos wide receivers are kind of worse. Because, I mean, you got Emmanuel Sanders, so, yay. I mean, he's doing good coming back from that Achilles injury. So, I mean, good for him. But other than that, I mean, is it Deshaun? Is it... I forgot what the other one guy's name was. I mean, Cortland Sutton. Wasn't that like a Patrick Hamilton or something? I now have to figure this out. But, you know. So, I mean, don't expect a lot from Denver. This is probably going to be par for the course for the season. Looks halfway good. Part of me, in my eyes, felt like they got cheated out of a win last week. Because it's like, you know, unless you're literally sitting there, like, right watching as soon as Allen Robinson hits the ground, calling a timeout. I mean, maybe they were, and if they were, then fine. But, you know, it seemed, I don't feel like they would have done it as soon as his butt hit the ground. So, whatever. Alright, next. Oh boy. I don't want to cover this game. Can I not? Would you guys be okay if I didn't? If you guys don't want to, you know, skip the, you know, don't listen to me for a couple minutes. Just leave this playing, but walk away for about 2-3 minutes. Because this is Miami against Dallas. And boy, oh boy, is this hot garbage. Of course, Dallas Cowboy fans are all going, yeah, baby, we're 3-0. It's like, you've played Washington, who is terrible. You've played the Giants, who are terrible. And you've played the Dolphins, who basically has the number 1 pick locked and loaded. If Miami does not have the number 1 pick in the draft next year, it'll be because they traded it away, which would be dumb as hell. But I wouldn't. But yeah, if I'm Miami, I'm not trading any draft picks for the next, 5 years. Unless suddenly, within, 2 of those 5 years, you become contenders. Then start trading shit away. Whatever. I mean, Dallas, I think it was Devin Smith. Yeah, Devin Smith. We would expect him to be more involved without any Michael Gallup, which makes me sad because I actually thought Michael Gallup was going to be a good guy coming in the year too, but he's out for like 4 or so weeks. So, other than that, the Dallas offense is Dallas offense. It looks good, but they haven't had a real test. And I don't care if anybody says, oh, they're so you got all this. I'm like, call me when Amari Cooper goes against good DBs, when that secondary, when the wide receivers go against good secondary. Call me when Dak has to actually, in my opinion, oh yeah, he threw for 400 yards, he's asking for money. I'm like, yeah, no duh he is, but it's also like he's not, it's like he hardly has to try against almost any of these teams he's played to throw for 300 yards and a bunch of touchdowns. Even run a couple in. I'm not saying he's not good. I'm just saying you're like, everyone's, I think, going to put him at this top tier of talent, but it's like he's had no actual test. Maybe this, people were probably doing the same thing with Lamar Jackson, but Lamar Jackson finally had a bad week. Well, not a bad week per se, but not a great week. He had a Lamar Jackson week. Not week 1, week 2 Lamar Jackson, but a last year Lamar Jackson. So not great, but oh well. So yeah, Dallas, you look good, and congratulations on being 3-0. But you've played the trash of the NFL, so come back down for a little bit, please. Yeah, Jacksonville beat the Titans. I'm not screaming going Jacksonville's going to the damn Super Bowl like all y'all are. Well, some of you, not all of you. People who shouldn't be also screaming about anything, the New York Giants. Don't scream about playoff hopes for this year or anything, but if you want to scream, you can, most of you also deserve to be quiet, because 80% of you guys booed the crap out of Dave Gettleman for drafting Daniel Jones. Now, obviously, good for Daniel Jones that he had a good week, his first start matchup against Tampa. Tampa is garbage. Their defense, their offense, Jameis Winston remembered how much he loved Mike Evans. He's like, oh yeah, Mike Evans. He's really, really good. I should throw him the ball. And then he did, and said, Chris Godwin's like, hey, can I get... No. Mike Evans time. It's like, but Mike Evans has already caught a bunch of touchdowns. Yeah, get out of here, Chris. Mike Evans. That's how the offense went. Peyton, O.J. Howard would be like, hey, guys, can I get... He's like, all right, fine, you get a target because you gave you none last week, but you get out. Mike Evans. That's how it felt with that offense. And it's like, all right, freaking Ronald Jones, Peyton Barber, I don't care who you are in the backfield, just take the ball and get out of my face. The Giants, a good and a bad day. Good? You watch Daniel Jones ball out, which, led a game-winning drive. He loves Evan Engram, so good, because Evan Engram is good and has talent. Just like O.J. Howard. Jameis, throw O.J. Howard the ball, you garbage man. That frustrates me. Sorry. Saquon, you had, for a moment, everything was in place. Daniel Jones, Saquon Barkley, and Evan Engram. The trifecta of what the future of the New York Giants probably is going to be. And then Saquon Barkley has a high ankle sprain and he's out for 4 to 6 weeks. So, yeah. I'm going to be brutally honest with that. No Saquon. I'm not expecting a lot. I'm expecting Daniel Jones to sling the ball a lot over the next few weeks. So, hey, good for that. Both these defenses are horrendous, and they still are horrendous. Jesus. 32-31. First off, Sterling Shepard makes a halfway decent, good wide receiver 1 right now. So, good for him. I wasn't thinking much about him when basically, after he got rid of OBJ, it's like, oh God. Basically, your number 1 target guy is always going to be Evan Engram, who's not a running back. And then the other one would be Saquon Barkley. So, yeah, you got that. the Carolina Panthers and the Arizona Cardinals. Or the Battle of Kyles. Kyle Allen versus Kyler Murray. I know Kyler Murray is Kyler, not Kyle. Basically, yeah. I'm not going to go. I had a joke, but I didn't think it'd work or sound good. Anyways. This is almost, in a weird way, I think, the best the Panthers have looked. But also, I think because Cam Newton still wasn't over that injury, and they made him play 2 weeks. So, of course, realistically, they were kind of going, well, you gotta, the question is, how bad is this problem? And if it gets really bad, I mean, I get, Kyle Allen looked good. Arizona's defense is bad. But at any point, do you consider throwing in Grier? Grier? I don't know. Whatever. Will Grier, the rookie they drafted. I mean, at what point, at any point in the season, depending on how bad Cam Newton's injury is and how long it will keep him out. He's already ruled out for next week. So you already got another week of Kyle Allen starting. But, I mean, if this is going to be like this for most of the season, do you consider throwing Grier in for a start or two? I mean, I understand. I don't know what the record is currently for the Carolina Panthers. Let me quickly check that. But to me, okay, they're 1-2. This was their first win. Okay, great, fantastic. Yeah, okay. Oh yeah, no, they almost came back and beat the Rams. I think week 1 that was. I don't remember who they played last week and lost to, but whatever. With that being said, I mean, Kyle Allen's getting their guys more involved. He got Curtis Samuel the ball more. He got DJ Moore the ball more. Greg Olsen caught 2 touchdowns. Christian McCaffrey, did Christian McCaffrey things, which got the ball a lot. Broke off a 70-yard touchdown run. Christian McCaffrey, baby. Patented. Just kidding. On the Arizona side of things, I mean, they're figuring out that offense. I don't think David Johnson is going to be as involved as people. It's not that he's not going to be as involved. He's going to be more involved and better as a wide receiver than he is as a running back. Because that O-line can't run block. That O-line just isn't going to be good for run blocking. Plus, I think they just keep trying to shove him and give bad play callings for David Johnson. So, I mean, Christian Kirk, he's looking good. Solid wide receiver, too. He's not going to, you don't know how much longer you got with Larry Legend. Who knows? This could, 1 year from today, like if you're talking about the Arizona Cardinals without Larry Fitzgerald. Which sucks because he's a legend. He's a Hall of Famer, in my mind, no doubt. He's done good enough work. Don't care if he has any rings or not. Some people are like, well, if you have no rings, I'm like, yeah, I understand, but sometimes your numbers are just too good not to be in there. That's my eyes. But, still waiting for some of these rookie guys to get up there. I still am, personally. Like Hakeem Butler, maybe Andy Isabella. I hope they get some time sometime this season because I think in my opinion, them two plus Christian Kirk is the Arizona Cardinals' future 1, 2, 3 wide receivers. Not in any order, per se. Probably Christian Kirk's going to be the number 1 for a good while because Christian Kirk, oh boy, he looks good. Of course, he can only do so much because Kyler Murray can only do so much. And also, Panthers have an average defense, I would say. Still got some good guys on there. Luke Kuechly, I think, is still there, so yeah, he's going to be able to run that defense. The next game. The Butterfinger game. Because I swear every time they cut to this game, there was a fumble, an interception, or some sort of turnover. It's like, how do you do this? Like, every play. How? It doesn't make sense. I don't know. I don't get it. It's like someone in the 49ers side went, hey, let's coat all of Pittsburgh's balls with Butterfingers. But then they went, wait, were those Pittsburgh's or those ours? Uh-oh. And they realized they did both. So, yeah. Jimmy Garoppolo, I think, just week 1 was a rust week because he's looked good the past 2 weeks. He's looked, well, maybe not good, but he's looked better. He's throwing the ball. Dante Pettis did something after they hyped him and then unhyped him. I don't know if that was a tactic to try and get him to do better, but that just felt annoying to listen to. Well, hey, if you're a running back in a Kyle Shanahan offense, you're going to get the work, buddy. Raheem Mostert, a.k.a. Colonel Mustard, as I call him. Another joke from somebody else. Cheers to you guys. Matt Breida, who's basically the featured back right now. Why is it with the 49ers that they go out of their way to pay to go get a guy, and he gets hurt, like a major injury, so then they have to just go, all right, well, who do we got? All right, we got Matt Breida, we got Mostert. Okay, that's who we're rocking. I mean, it's like second year in a row they've had this. Last year was Jerick McKinnon, who they're like, oh, he might be fine this year, but he's had setbacks, and I think he's on IR. And I don't know about, oh, God, what's his name? Tevin Coleman. Perfect fit for Kyle Shanahan offense as a man who's played for Kyle Shanahan. Steelers, I mean, the era of Mason Rudolph most likely has begun. I mean, I wouldn't be totally shocked if Big Ben is sitting here the next... In my eyes, there's almost no way this is good for Big Ben, because I think for him, I understand Big Ben makes this team better than it usually is, because Mason Rudolph right now is looking a little shaky, but also he is still a younger guy. He hasn't had a whole lot of regular season playing time. Week 17 garbage is, to me, basically a preseason game. So, that's just whatever. James Conner and Juju, I think they're finally getting on track a little bit, even though James Conner did get hurt. I think it's going to take time. I think maybe a couple more weeks down the road, and we'll be like, okay, I think this offense is going to have something. For right now, I can see it's probably there, but other than, I'm gonna say, even if Big Ben comes back, I wouldn't be shocked if they just kind of went, I don't know if we want to give you the starting job back. I'm sure they would, just because it's Big Ben. He's most likely a Hall of Famer, and he's aged, he's got the experience. He's like, if you want to win games, and if you want to make at least one more run, yeah, you give the ball to Big Ben. But if you're at this point, you're just going, let's go with our young guys, because this, right now this is in a weird way their like Giants trio: Mason Rudolph, James Conner, and Juju Smith-Schuster. Juju, I believe, second year. James Conner, I want to say minimum or maximum third year, I should say. My bad. And Mason Rudolph, I believe, is his second year, because I think he was taken last year, way after all the mega quarterbacks were taken, like Baker and all them. So, Steelers are 0-3, so, of course, obviously you're riding the season out with Mason Rudolph. Big Ben's out for the year. But, if he comes back and breaks your 500, maybe even a little over, a little under, I don't see Big Ben getting that job back. Big Ben's up there in age. It's harder to recover from things as you get older. So, especially it's true of NFL quarterbacks who've taken a lot of hits over the years. Tom Brady's young because Tom Brady basically doesn't get hit, and all the refs make sure if he does get hit, that everybody gets penalized for touching Tom Brady. Because the NFL is dumb. The Saints and the Seahawks. A little bit surprising, but I call this more or less Alvin Kamara and the defense against the Seattle Seahawks. Because this just felt mostly just the offense did good. You got some good breaks on offense. Teddy Bridgewater didn't look half bad, but of course, when you have people like Alvin Kamara and Michael Thomas to work with, you're pretty good no matter who you are. When you got the talent, you got the talent. So not everyone's going to be like that, obviously. But so Traquan Smith, Ted Ginn, I wouldn't expect much out of until Drew Brees comes back. But Teddy Bridgewater, he's going to probably. You would think he would throw to Jared Cook a lot, but I don't think he might. He might not. But that defense is still rock solid. I'm telling you that. I mean, also the Seahawks O-line is not great. Still. So Russell Wilson has to do a lot of scrambling. Chris Carson, put glue on your gloves before they decide Rashad Penny is the way to go. So, I mean, they drafted Rashad Penny with a first rounder. In my opinion, they drafted him. They're gonna eventually, which could, in my opinion, mean next year, because I think they'll still give Chris Carson 1 year. If Chris Carson has a bad year, he had a great week 1, but I think that could have been because of Cincinnati. It was just a really bad run defense, and we didn't entirely figure that out till basically right now, where we're kind of going, yeah, most likely if you're running back, you're going to be good against them. Seattle, Russell Wilson's Russell Wilson. Tyler Lockett, he's what he is. Nice long touchdowns. Just, he's there when you need him. He's kind of like Doug Baldwin. But I feel like their true Doug Baldwin replacement, who's going to be catching a lot more, is going to be DK Metcalf. I mean, geez, DK Metcalf looks like a monster on the field. And I think he's going to be... I know everyone was touting him because of his, his combine metrics and everything, but I still... I don't... Right now, getting him in the second round still, to me, is just as good. Yeah, second round. It wasn't third. It was second. I looked it up, and I was wrong. But yeah, so I mean... I think I think both these teams are going to be interesting down the run. Seattle's going to have a lot to work with, especially with a division that has the 49ers and the Rams. So it'll be fun to see how that goes. Plus, they're going to have to compete, maybe for... No, not a wild card with the Saints. The Saints are going to win the division, so they'll have to compete with Atlanta and Carolina, but we'll see how that ends up. The Texans and the Chargers. Oh, boy. Well, not oh boy. This game was fun to watch. It's coming down to it. I think it was the last fourth down stand, basically by the Texans to close the game. So good for the Texans. I mean, Texans are what everyone basically thought they were. You just needed O-line help. You need to keep Deshaun Watson off the ground, and you will win games. Their defense is a different entity because it's not good. It's just not, but your offensive production usually makes up for it. That being said, for this year, I'm sure you'd be fine writing out Duke Johnson and Carlos Hyde as your two backs, but I'd recommend going for a running back next year, in my opinion. Both those guys are up there in age. Well, I don't know about Duke Johnson. When I said both those guys, I actually meant... Lamar Miller, who tore his ACL, and Carlos Hyde. Both those guys are up there in age. Lamar Miller coming off an ACL tear, I don't know if I like. When you think about it like that, Deonta Foreman tore his Achilles in the first year. They didn't like it, so they cut him. Lamar Miller tears his ACL in year whatever. I mean, if they keep him, they keep him. That's whatever. It's their call. But I wouldn't exactly be excited about that or anything. The Chargers, I think teams are kind of picking up on how to beat Austin Eckler and everything, but I don't think it's going to matter too much. I think they'll be resourceful. They'll find a way to get Austin Eckler the ball. They'll find a way to get Keenan Allen and Mike Williams the ball. Phillip Rivers will find a way. So, and that defense is, good. But, I mean... if you can't get to the quarterback, you're not going to be great all the time. You're going to lose games. Sometimes you got to get sacks and put pressure on them to make mistakes. You got to force them. All right, Sunday night football. Los Angeles Rams, a.k.a. the better LA team, versus the Cleveland overhyped. I'm saying it at this point. They've looked at disgusting they haven't looked great the first 3 games. I mean, God. I understand you got Odell. Good for you. I understand year 2 Baker. Good for you. Jarvis Landry. I mean, everything is looking good for you. But where is it? You know? It's like when... It's like watching a McDonald's commercial and going, man, that Big Mac looks really good and delicious. And it just looks so big and just delicious. That's what she said. Whatever innuendo you want to make out of that, I don't care. I know you will, internet. And then you go to McDonald's and you buy the Big Mac. And then you open the box and you go, "That's it." That's how the Browns feel right now. That's it. I mean, week 1, you cap off your first drive by giving Dante Hilliard, I believe. Hilliard is his last name. That I'm basically sure of. The goal line down carry instead of Nick Chubb. That feels disgraceful to Nick Chubb for all the good work he's put in for you guys. Freddie Kitchens, Greg Williams, come on. Baker hasn't looked like he's... Baker almost looked like he's just kind of what he was in his first start. By first start, I mean when he took over halfway through the game for Tyrod Taylor last year on Thursday night. So, I mean, everything is there. The design, the paper, it's there for Cleveland to be good. But they are doing nothing. I mean, yeah, Odell makes a couple good plays. Congratulations. He's going to do that. He's a freaking superstar. Jarvis Landry basically has lost 80% of his target share, I think. Because I think, well, it would go to David Njoku, but he's on, I believe, IR. If not, he's out for several weeks because of broken wrist and possibly concussion. Like, that play he got hurt on, yikes. He got flipped, and he basically landed on his neck. That is going to hurt. So, I mean, I don't know enough about neck injuries, but even I'm like, that's probably concussion. Or something like that. The Rams are the Rams. I mean, Cooper Kupp, they're going, instead of going, let's see how he is, they're like, no, Cooper Kupp's fine. Jared Goff, feed him the ball. I mean, he's good. He's absolutely, I mean, right now, they're treating him like he's the number 1 on that team, and I think, in reality, he was and is going to be the number 1 on that team for the time being. I mean, at least for this year, I think they're going to treat him like that, unless they kind of see him start getting a little slowed down because of the ACL. I mean, Brandon Cooks was never going to be your number 1. Brandon Cooks spent time in New Orleans and kind of was a number 1 in a sense. Then he went to New England, where he wasn't ever going to be a number 1 because Gronk was there, and so was Julian Edelman. Both those guys would be ahead in targets for Tom Brady because Tom Brady knows them. So, in a way, Brandon Cooks has just transitioned into a really good deep threat guy. And also, he can, he's there, he's good, like, just to do everything else, but I mean, I feel, when you want to go long, Brandon Cooks is probably the one doing the flat, just the go route. I mean, defensive-wise, both these teams have actually good defenses. Like, the Browns have a good defense. Well, I wouldn't say good, but it's pretty, I think some of those, younger guys are getting up there, or not getting up there, but they're obviously doing better. They're coming into their own. So, it's a good defense. The Rams is still, pretty good. You didn't pay Aaron Donald all that money for nothing, obviously. So, obviously, that was going to be a problem for Cleveland this week. But, I don't know what's going on in Cleveland. You know what? They might be suffering. I'm going to say it. They're going to suffer Jacksonville's problem. Okay, they have a better quarterback than Jacksonville did when they made their run, but Doug Marrone took over, and everything looked great with 1 year with Doug Marrone. They made it all the way to the AFC Championship on the back of that defense. And then they started cutting half of that defense to go out and pay Nick Foles, broke his clavicle week 1 against Kansas City. I know, it's not what you expected. It's, all that kind of stuff. So, there's not much you can do about that. Still, I mean, it might end up being like that. I mean, we'll see how he does. I mean, Freddie Kitchens, he's got time. and you'll obviously, but taking over for Hugh Jackson, anyone's gonna look good. It's similar in theory to anyone taking over for Marvin Lewis. But I also think Zach Taylor is, I don't know. Yes, someone was telling me this. Actually, I think it was my dad, and he was telling me that Marvin Lewis wasted Andy Dalton because Andy Dalton actually looks good, and it's like if you gave him the right guy, I think the Bengals could have been a better team. But he said you had Marvin Lewis, and Marvin Lewis, yeah. Then we'll go with yesterday's game that you probably didn't need to watch to know how it went. Let's be real. Mitch Trubisky finally spread the ball around. He finally spread the ball to somebody whose name was not Allen Robinson. Bears fans rejoice for that reason, as well as your win. Take your easy victory. I would too if I were you. I don't know, the NFL probably gave you a harder schedule because they expected you to be a better team. Obviously you're not always going to be able to get, tough games. You can't basically play Green Bay every week. If you did, that would be kind of fun, but it'd be boring after a while. So, Taylor Gabriel popped off for 3 touchdowns. His third one was a very, very lucky catch. From watching it, it didn't look like it, but after seeing the replay, it's like, ooh, he barely got it by, like, a hair that his other cleat, like, nicked the ground. They dominated the Redskins, basically, for this whole game. I'll get to the defense in a little bit, but, who my lordy. Running game still needs... The offense just doesn't... The offense wants to run the ball, but the run game just isn't working for whatever reason. It's just not. I don't know what to say, but I think in time, Matt Nagy will figure out how to use those running backs better. Obviously, in my opinion, you need to give David Montgomery the ball more. I don't know why your first set out of the gate is an end around to Cordero Patterson and treating him. I don't know why you're doing. I understand Tariq Cohen is a good player. He's agile. He's fast. He can make plays, and I get that. But Cordero Patterson's out there, like. Cordero Patterson is there for basically that play alone. But also, you're putting Tariq Cohen back on punt returns and stuff like that. It's like, when are you going to let David Montgomery have more of a chance? Because they're not. It doesn't look like it. It's like Matt Nagy wants to, but he's also like, no, I'll just let Tariq Cohen deal with this. Which is not at all what he should do. It's like, David Montgomery was elusive, and you kind of saw that. He didn't do well on the play, but what he did, but he made several guys miss tackles. Now, obviously, many more came in, and he didn't make them miss. So he got 2 or 3 yards, possibly. But I'm just saying. Okay. I'm going to correct my statement because I just checked the stat line and they gave David Montgomery 13 carries. I take what I have said back. I take it back. Cordell Patterson and Tariq Cohen match with carries. I disagree on how that should be, but maybe that's just a week-to-week thing. For once, the targets are almost even. Taylor Gabriel, 7. A-Rob, 7. 4 for Tariq, 4 for Trey Burton. Anthony Miller was there? I cannot believe it. He only caught 1 pass, but he was targeted 3 times. So, awesome. Stop. Monitor. For the love of God. So, I think that's the kind of things you're going to want to see out of the Bears offense. And I think that is part of the reason that helped them score. That also looked good, You want to talk about what really helped them? Their defense. Let me see. I'm already on their stat page. Khalil, they had at least they had 4 sacks today. Not today, yesterday. I mean, almost every play, I swear. If the Redskins were trying to throw the ball, Case Keenum. Yes, Case Keenum. Doesn't sound right. No, but it is. I don't know why I don't think it was Case Keenum. Okay, whatever. Case Keenum, a Bears defensive player was probably in the backfield. Almost moments, if not very little time away from being able to get to him. Or maybe he just got lucky and dodged him. But I mean, that's par for the course with Washington. Maybe that's why they're not putting in Dwayne Haskins. Because they know if they put Dwayne Haskins in that, the next thing you know, your future quarterback might be up for the season with a very bad injury. And I don't think they want an RG3 repeat. Because the last time I think they spent a good amount on a draft capital QB was RG3, who was essentially a one-and-done player. He had his 15 minutes, and that's it. I mean, Case Keenum didn't look great. He threw for 332 yards, but he threw 3 picks. I mean, it didn't look, things didn't look great. I mean, he loves Paul Richardson and Terry McLaurin. That was kind of obvious through the first 2 weeks. But I mean, oh man, Trey Quinn was 7. I mean, you want, if anyone's out there thinking, who would be people to target if you want someone on the Redskins? Paul Richardson, Terry McLaurin, Trey Quinn. Trey Quinn's going to be your best bet because he's probably, this is for fantasy players, but he's probably on waivers. So, if you're deep enough or you just want a random shot, pick him up. Obviously this was a bad matchup. He caught 5 for 7 targets for 30 yards. I think against other teams that have worse defenses, that's a bump up to maybe 60, 70, and possibly a touchdown. The only touchdowns they got were from Paul Richardson and Terry McLaurin. Paul Richardson's probably on the cheap end. Not after this performance, but on the cheap end. Paul Richardson, 8 for 83 and a touchdown. Terry McLaurin, 6 for 70 and a touchdown. There you go. So wait, the answer was Josh Doxson was just bad. Oh, Washington, I almost feel bad for you, but I don't. So, and I believe that is the last game I have to go over. I spent an hour talking about this, which I'm happy about because I get to kind of say whatever I want, and I get to go as in depth and make all my jokes as I want, and no one can tell me to move on and shut up. So yeah, eat it, the rest of you. And if you liked it, let us know. Let me know. My Twitter is down there at the bottom of the screen. But right where my hands are, I'm looking at my monitor to see if it's like I hear like boop at Xander007. From there, you'll probably be able to see all the other guys at BlackSang132 for my buddy Jones, at _John_the G, or no, the _ G for John, Tony at Tony Meduzia, Andrew. I think it's Andrew G _ and a bunch of damn numbers. I don't feel like looking up the numbers, so sorry, Andy. But I love you. Tried to give you a shout out. I did my best. And it's not Andrew G _ 32. I'm almost sure of that. Unless I have the wrong Twitter. Anyways, thank you all for watching, for making it to the end. I appreciate it, for sitting here through my ramblings. Hopefully we have more of the guys here tomorrow to do our line bets predictions for week 4. I'm looking forward to doing that. Oh, yeah. We're in NFL season, baby. And for the record, we've got, in my opinion, hopefully we're putting out a video about an MLB postseason coming up, because that's coming up soon. Jones, if you're watching this, let's get on that. Hockey's coming back, so I'm going to try and do some hockey stuff on my own time. Not many of anybody else cares about hockey. I'm the hockey kind of guy. So, but again, thank y'all for watching. Please let us know what you think about this. And again, hopefully we got more people here tomorrow to do our predictions. That'll be up most likely sometime Thursday before kickoff. Thank you all again for the 3rd time, because I keep rambling. Goodbye.